Good evening, everyone. We are out for a hike in a new spot, but along the railroad tracks. Okay. This is a interactive investigation and exploring adventure, and I need your help, your participation, and I will go into and explain some things of the details at where I'm at and what's going on. But first of all, I need you guys. I need you guys for commenting. Sorry, I'm hearing noises already. And just for keeping an eye on things. I miss a lot of things, and you guys have been very good at catching a lot of things, and I'll go into more detail about that. So what I'm doing here is, okay, cameraman Jack has been on about doing the railroad tracks in Ohio. So I am on the set of tracks. I did a portion of this track much further down that way through Hogsback just a little bit ago. We had some interesting things happen. This is about a mile further down. Okay, so if any of you guys are familiar with the area in Conneaut, I'm in the city limits of Conneaut, Ohio, that is, Ohio's sharpest corner. And I am on the CN railroad tracks. If I can get up here. And I am east of Furnace Road. And I want to head, there's a power line cut back here. And then the next thing we'll see what we're at with there and how things go. We may go to there and turn and come back, or we may go further to the I-90 overpass. Okay, so I am just under a half mile from I-90, and we have on this side of us to the south is a cemetery. On the other side of there's the stream that runs through here that we called Hogs Run, but it runs along these tracks. There's a cemetery on that side that goes for a little ways back here, and we have Bessemer Avenue, I believe it is, on the other side of this. On the other side of those woods, there's some houses. Okay, so we will hear the I-90 traffic. It's almost impossible to get away from. We are we're probably maybe a mile, maybe a little less than a mile from the N&S tracks, and maybe a mile to a mile and a half from the CSX tracks. Unlikely we will see a train down here. The CN line that usually only runs iron ore down to Pittsburgh. They have a boat coming in here in, that's actually tomorrow on June 12th. But for now, they're waiting for a shipment before, so there's not a lot of runs that go down here. This line will run all the way from Conneaut all the way to Pittsburgh, to the steel mills to bring the iron ore, which you can see along the side there. There are the pellets. Now, for my phone, it has the iPhone 14 Pro. It has a light on there. It makes it look a little bit lighter than what it really is. But so I will pan up and show you. We can see our moon up there, and it is it's after sunset, but it is so about 9:15. So we're about 20 minutes after sunset, and so it's still kind of a little bit of the glow of sunshine. It has been a beautiful day. It is clear skies. It's 58 degrees currently in Conneaut, with one of the things I love for my hikes, zero wind. Wind's light and variable. So which is perfect for hearing. However, no winds is going to and at nighttime is going to echo the freeway traffic, but hopefully it'll echo any other noises as well. And I mean, if this is a bust, it's a bust, I guess, because there's been a lot of wildlife reportings, especially over here with the cemetery. And there's a couple cemeteries I want to get permission from the city to be able to walk. But before I walk them, I got to talk to people and get permission, because I don't feel like getting arrested for being in a cemetery after dark. So look at it, that's recent. Look at it, this came across the tracks here. That's a recent break, yeah. And a lot of the sticks are still on the roadway. And you know me, I have a knack. If there's a stick on the ground, I will find it to step on, whether I want to or not. Okay, so a little more about this area. Cameraman Jack, who's cameraman and crew, who I'm part of that crew, is wanting to do a lot of stuff with investigations on the lesser used or abandoned railroad tracks of Ohio. And just so happens there's one near me because of a lot of the activity reports. So I am going to be part of that. And this is part of my investigation that'll go along with the cameraman and crew's investigations. So some of the other things I want to say is in one of my the videos at the marsh, a very astute observer, Kevin Mack is his name, found on the opposite side of the marsh, on that beaver pond, found something not only watching me, but then caught it walking away, and you can see on the thermal that it has 2 feet. And it is creepy as heck. I didn't see it in real time, I didn't catch it. But that's why I have this going. And now I do want to say that I do the thermal. I put the thermal out along with the main video. Okay. Now understand, my feelings aren't going to be hurt if you don't watch the thermal. I understand the thermal ain't for everyone, but if you're wanting to help me investigate, this is a really good tool for matching up videos. We were able to. I had a couple other viewers there along with me. Jubilee was one of them too. They were helping to match up. And Jubilee is from Oklahoma. We're able to help match up the time frames of between the 2 videos. And you can see actually on the main video, there is a part where you look at, if you're looking closely and zoomed in on the exact spot, and the thermal gives you the exact spot to look, you can see I caught eye shine of what of that. So it was not only standing upright and had 2 legs, and you can see an arm swing out from it, but it had eye shine. Well, 2 legs and having an arm, it makes it sound like a person until you see eye shine. People do not have eye shine. Okay, so that means I caught an unknown thing out there, and that's the same. It was in the same area that I had the rock throw. Okay, so that's pretty good and pretty significant, and I wouldn't have seen it, and I've been able to match up all those details without some very astute viewers. And I want to say thank you greatly to all of you guys who have done that, who've listened closely to things. I do take your input, take that very seriously, and value your time. So if you take the time to comment on me, I will do my best to get back to you. That's part of the interactive part, is that you'll get to not only interact with the video, but interacting with me. So this is you can see as there's a little bit where the cemetery ends back here. Then there is a farm on the other side. There are some farmlands south of here, but then there's some thick woods, and same on this side too. We'll have the neighborhood ends, and it looks like it already has, and you get some pretty thick woods out here. So I don't know whether this is a better area to go, or whether I need to go somewhere else, but I know some of the things that have been sighted along the tracks have been pretty creepy. And in my last video on the tracks, I sighted another thing that was an upright person, maybe a person, I don't know what it was, but another astute viewer noticed that someone was watching me from off of the railroad bridge, and it was caught on there. And also there was a deer caught on the thermal that I didn't see. So again, I guarantee nothing. I can't make things appear. I try to go into areas where I think they will be. But at the end of the day, for some reason, I have a knack for, especially what I see with this thermal, that it will spot something and I will turn the opposite way just in time. Okay, somebody been back here. There's a beer can on a stick there. I know that some four-wheelers, I believe they come back here, and if we do get all the way to the I-90 underpass, which would actually be an interesting point where animals would go, or cryptids, whatever that we're looking for everything. I love the wildlife. I gotta preference that. I love the wildlife. Okay, so finding a rabbit is thrilling to me. Okay, but I am investigating in particular, okay, along with cameraman and crew, the predatory activity. Conneaut here has been particularly noted for some very infamous, it looks like there's multiple black panthers around here. I would like to catch proof of that. Also many black bears too, and they will mostly take off when they hear me, but who knows, I may catch one of them. And I am carrying my 2 wireless hole punchers just in case, but also we are looking for anything else. Okay, in my videos have been caught disembodied voices, which I don't know what the heck those are. Okay, it's not what I'm necessarily looking for, but creepy nonetheless. And we've had screams, rock throws, weird sightings, you name it. Okay, and we've probably run across it in some way, form, or fashion in my videos. I've had a lot of weird screeches and screams here lately in my videos. Okay, we also have a growing population of bobcats that we're trying to see if we find any of those, and fisher cats. Now, fisher cats are not actually cats. They're more closely related to wolverines. And as you know, that means they're pretty darn vicious. But nonetheless, it's a pretty vicious predator, and we're looking for it. And I know I've done a lot of talking here at the beginning. I like to try to get the groundwork in this first part. Give you guys all the circumstances. It is lightning bug season, so I haven't seen any yet, but we may see lots of lightning bugs. And we do have along here, this is a stream, so we do got a water source over here. And that's why I've been I've been trying to check on this side too, because there's like a ditch on this side. The main water source is running along this side. So we are with a water source, that's where you're likely to get animals coming in. And it is pretty remote and wooded areas, so that's where we could end up finding things. Okay, and I know we have some of our creepiest spots in Conneaut, and I do a lot of my investigations are around the city. And unfortunately, I-90, between I-90 and railroad tracks, they're the 2 dominant noise features. And I'm hearing some crickets starting out. That's another thing. We're into the crickets are now out. Looks like I can see the I-90 bridge up ahead. So I guess maybe, I'm not sure if maybe the wire cut may be further down. But one of the things that would make this area very significant is animals, predators, whatever things, instead of trying to cross the interstate, if there's a way that they can go underneath it in a remote area where there's not a lot of humans, that would be where they would go. So I think that's an interesting spot in Conneaut, particular for I-90 crossings. This spot, and there is another spot on Furnace Road and on Keefus Road. Actually, I think it's the Underridge, Southridge Road area where it goes underneath the interstate, and it's a not very much heavily used dirt road. Those would be the heavy animal crossing areas, because you know, if you've ever traveled along the interstate, the ones that try to cross, you usually see what happens to them. They're splatted. So I think some of the animals with the higher intelligent level will use these crossings. Your high intelligent level ones, that's going to be your predators. Okay. And possibly or cryptids. This is looking like we're in some pretty thick woods. So I looked this over on the map. I have actually never walked back here. Not in all of my years of exploring Conneaut as a kid. Have I ever made it back this way? So we're walking this fresh and brand new together. Now I know a friend of mine, Preduncan, he's come back here in some videos before, but I've never done it. I think this is, yes, you can see our wire cut right here. And I was looking at that. It looked like I-90 was maybe a little further away, but then you can see it right there. It means we got to go to it. These wire cuts are a major, that's another thing, it's a major highway for animals. And you can look, this is south. You can see Interstate 90. Right from there, you'll see some of the traffic go through. But this is an area where I want to check. And as you can see, it's grown up quite a bit. So it's not like it's would be an easy walk through there. And I'm trying to look and see if we have any game trails. I'm still hearing some bird noises. So if you're looking at that, you're listening to this, I can hear it almost sounds like a whistle, but it's a bird. Okay. But I'm not seeing anything. I do want to check my flashlight while I'm here. You can see that lit up area down at the end. I'm thinking that's probably something to do with the prison. Or either that, or it might be I think we're east of the prison, so that may be the Port Conneaut Dock Company. I thought so. Okay. Okay. Got the light at its brightest point. Okay. So I was suspecting it wasn't as bright as it should be. Okay. You see now I do have It's sad, but still some good news. Okay. The little boy who drowned in Lake Erie here in Conneaut this last weekend, 10-year-old, his name was Hunter. They found his body this evening, about 4:30 this evening. I was able to go down there and meet his parents, and my heart breaks for them. I mean, it's such a sad story. He was literally swept out of his mom's arms. Lake Erie, if you let your guard down on Lake Erie for a minute, it will kill you. It's why, I mean, I've done a whole lot with the ship videos along the Great Lakes. It's why that shipping industry is so dangerous. Okay, the Great Lakes are inland seas. Calling them a lake is kind of a misnomer, that people don't understand how gigantic they are and violent they are. He was found on the west breakwall, which is where I thought he would be. That's predominantly what happens to a lot of the people who drown there. And yes, I say a lot of the people who drown there. That's sadly a spot where, over the history of Conneaut, a lot of people have drowned there. Well, that's interesting. There's a pathway through there. Now I'm going to have to get on the map and see where that pathway goes and see who owns the property there once we go off of the railroad. Because that's where I'm on right now, is CN's property. And I am very weary of walking onto private property. So I'll have to check that. And since I didn't notice that on the map, I don't want to run down there and potentially trespass on somebody's property. It is getting darker. And now you'll notice when you'll hear those semis, they get really loud. Really loud. You'll hear the those semis. That's called an engine brake. They let off. They literally let off the gas, and their big engines will make that loud noise. That's why there's some areas that you'll see a sign that says no engine brake, because the noise from that engine brake is obnoxiously loud. And I haven't stood still much, so I'm not sure if I have caught everything. I have been kind of chatting quite a bit. I do like to give you guys all the information, and I know sometimes that means we may miss stuff, but here's the thing, we got to walk back. And my history with these down and backs is I think when I walk by, I may be a little noisier, and on the way back, I think everything thinks I left, and so I kind of surprise things on the way back. That's my theory anyway. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is. Could be some things trying to spot me as a meal. So thankfully, not too many bugs out tonight, which is good. I mean, we're down in the 50s. Beautiful night. Again, clear, starry skies. Moon is just a fingernail. Again, I'm not sure whether this is a good idea. There was another spot I wanted to go, and sadly it's flooded. I mean, it's still it's like too thick that I'm not going to be able to get through there even with the mucks. So, but it would be close to the highway as well. A lot of the stuff is. Seen something twinkle down there in the distance, but I can't tell if that's a kind of light that is. I'll eventually get closer to it. So it's pretty far down there. Okay, and I can't pick up anything that I can see on that thermal at the moment. And I adjusted the thermal. I took away the cold arrow, so it only is picking up hot points. It still gives a range of hot and cold. As you can see, it's picking up a range there. The top end of that is running right about 55 degrees, and the bottom end is in the 40s. As you can see from this, concrete and the steel, the stones, they retain heat much longer than some of the woods will in the plant life. And I'm not sure if there's a side that I should be more focused on, because both sides have a water source and is heavily wooded at this point. I checked on the map there and it's pretty wooded, heavily wooded, and not much going on out here, not much human activity. So I'm not sure if there's a way I should be checking more than any other. We'll say up there is our moon. Looks like it's the shape of the man in the moon there right now. And I can still, let me see if I can zoom in on that. See that little twinkle of a light down there underneath the bridge? That's what I can't tell what that is. I don't know if that's a stationary device giving off that light, which there are some of those. As you can see, look at it. I mean, heavy woods. Like, man, that is thick. If you wanted to try to run through there, I think if I had to run through there, I'd be in trouble. I don't think I'd make it too far. So as you can see, too, high canopy, both sides. So I'm like kind of in this little open valley because there's the little stream. And I'm thinking that's got to be a stationary device because I can still see that light and it's in the same spot. So you can see it's not a common place for people to go. However, I have a feeling when we get underneath this bridge, which I've never been to before, I have a feeling, I'm betting, we're going to see graffiti underneath here. So I don't know why they feel like in a spot where people don't really go and hang out, you need to mark it up. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but neither does just graffitiing on a bridge, period. You see some of the wildflowers are out. Look at that pile of railroad ties is still kicking off some heat. Now we're gonna go down here to probably just on the other side of the bridge. We're gonna check out that light. If we can see what that is, it might be something reflecting now that I'm looking at it, because if I watch, I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in. So you can see that. Now if I pan that away, yeah, it's reflecting off us. That's a reflection. That just means I'm doing my part investigating. But we might check out and see what that is that's reflecting. And then we'll turn around from there, because then we start to get pretty darn close to the Pennsylvania line. And while there are sometimes I will go do some things in Pennsylvania, I don't like to go in there much, because Pennsylvania is the People's Republic. Their gun laws are different, more strict, it's less free than the state of Ohio. So I usually, one of the beautiful things about America, we're divided into states, and if you don't like one state's laws, you can move to another one, or not go into that other state. So most of the time I will not go into the People's Republic. I'm not sure why they're riding down the road honking their horn a whole bunch. Okay. I gotta say, sometimes people baffle me. I do want to try and get a good scan of this. Now I can already on the bridge see the graffiti. So unfortunately, I do know human criminal activity behavior all too well as a 22-year corrections officer. And also did 6 years in military police, and did the rest in munitions and having to hunt down bad guys around the world. Seems like I know criminal behavior and what they'll do all too well. And it looks like they got Ren and Stimpy holding an American flag. And, well, I gotta add, that's pretty talented. Not bad. So, I would have to say, Stimpy, you idiot, man. Okay. And over here on the other side, weird looking chick with big lips hanging out next to a skeleton dude wearing an Uncle Sam hat. Alrighty. Yeah. So, again, talented yet misguided. And over here, put their gang language and signs on there. Now, I used to have all the material to break down and read that, because yes, it's literally like a second language, but I am a bit out of practice now that I'm retired. Now they got one with Ohio holding a sign that's blank. I'm not sure what it's Ohio saying. Quit. I think Ohio is holding up a sign saying, "Quit graffitiing me." Okay. Yeah. This looks like somebody actually had that on fire. And one of the things to check is up here. Make sure I don't have any people. That's one of the things, this thermal, it'll pick them up. Okay, so we made it all the way, and here's our reflective marker. We're gonna walk to that. Now this is an area onto this side of the tracks, or onto this side of the interstate. It's the backside of an area that I really wanted to go to, but it was too flooded. This is getting into the Baldwin's Pond area. And it's extensive. It is a very, very extensive wooded area, and with a very interesting story. We got some tracks, four-wheel tracks back there. So, well, all right, we're gonna call that the halfway point. And definitely, as we're right underneath the interstate, we are going to have a lot of noise. It's picking up a flicker of light over there. I'm checking that thermal, and I don't know if that showed up. Could have been a lightning bug. Again, this would be a prime area where animals would cross. Also, if a hobo wanted to hang out here, this would be where they would go. And I don't know why, but I feel like I need to turn and check my 6. Just when you get that feeling, you're walking out in an area like this and you feel like you need to check behind you, you should always listen to that instinct. Okay. And I can tell you, man, this railroad track, these rocks are a little rough on the feet, but it's also fairly flat, so I can more easily walk along this. And I see a fence line right there on that side, so that probably goes on to some, right on the other side too. So that probably goes right on to some private property, maybe owned by the railroad. So, but like right on the other side of that fence, maybe somebody else's. Because railroad owns some large swaths of property in the city of Conneaut. You know, the camera, because of its light, it adds a little light to the sky. It's a little bit darker. I want to show you. I'm going to take my light away. This is what I'm walking into. Okay, so with the light, I can see a little bit more. But ahead of me, I mean, I can see out in front of me a little bit, but then it is just all dark. And yeah, I wanted to check this because it's pretty secluded and wooded despite the freeway noise, and again, because it is a good I guess a good avenue for the animals to cross the interstate. But boy, I hate the noise of that interstate. So I apologize if that kind of wrecks some of this video. Yeah, these stones here, kind of murder on the knees. And now walking back, I'm gonna try and do a little less talking, a little more looking. It is a beautiful, thick wooded area, and I would say, minus that interstate, boy, wouldn't this be a perfect area to check. Unfortunately, with the interstate, it does leave things to be kind of a pain in the rear end. Because I'm not sure if we've caught any note. I could hear the crickets, but beyond that, it's hard to hear over that noise of that of the freeway. And I kind of like staying on the center of the track as opposed to like down here, because let's do a 6 check here. I'm a little higher up. Okay. Let's see. We got anything? We got nothing. Okay. But it is a little higher up to than the sides are. Kind of the high ground in a low area. And so I'm able to kind of capture a little bit better into the woods. See, we got a trail going off here, and it looks like it goes right into a swamp. Huh. Because there is the stream over there, so that's probably, that swamp is probably the stream. So on these, I just heard something there. It almost sounded like a whistle, but I can't place it. May have been a bird. We'll have to check that in review. It's only somewhere in the 44-minute mark. So I do want to add, if there's some areas that you would like to see me search up here in Ashtabula County, Northwest Pennsylvania, I know some people have asked for jumbo woods, and I'm going to check that out and see what kind of pathways we have in those. Jumbo woods is in into Pennsylvania. It's into the People's Republic. So I am kind of reserved on heading over there. I'd prefer to stay in the free state of Ohio. But I will go over there too. So that is on the future plans, is Jumbo Woods. There's a nice little, probably game trail through there. I'm not seeing anything. Very thick woods though. So if there's any other areas, Ashtabula County, Northwest Pennsylvania, even into Lake and Geauga, you're interested in seeing me check out, please drop it in the comments. I am looking for suggestions. Most of my investigations are done right here in Ohio's sharpest corner in Conneaut, because it's 28 square miles here. There's a lot here. Okay, and then just south of us, Monroe Township is the largest inland township in Ohio. So it's that's a big area just right there. Ashtabula County is the largest inland in Ohio. So there's a lot of woodlands to explore. Some beautiful rivers, and I have some things on tap that I want to go to in the near future. And we're here to the wire, back to the wire cut. And see, this wire cut's where I think I have the best chance of seeing something. And I got two ways to look. So one area has something heavily lit up. You know, I know what it is. Now when we're looking over at that lit up area, that's Route 20. There's a billboard there. Okay. So it is right near the prison, but that's what's lit up there. And we'll try to get a good look down here and see if we can spot anything. But this area in particular, and I'm gonna move over more to the center of this, it kind of runs diagonal to the tracks. This is the area where I was really thinking this is where we might catch something. That may have been a lightning bug or something. I just seen something over there. But it was a quick light. It may have been a lightning bug. Okay. So this is where I was thinking we have a shot at seeing something. But all I'm catching is some of the lights of the cars on I-90. But was really hoping, in particular this area, we'd be able to find something. And again, before I do some of the cemeteries, I want to talk to some of the city officials, because again, I don't think they'll mind. I think they'd like to know first. And I don't feel like getting arrested and freaking someone out. You know, I mean, somebody looks out, that lives near the cemetery, looks out and sees a dude with a flashlight carrying a wireless hole puncher. You know, that may be a little unnerving to them. And if they call the police and they say, oh yeah, that's T-Mac with his camera. Here we go. I just found, look at that. Even on the railroad tracks, I can find a stick to step on and break. Sadly, that's a pretty, you know, I'm seeing a lot of the trees. There are some older, smaller ones. That is a giant. And its shape is even, I mean, look at that. That's a big, almost Triton. I think that's what it's called, shaped. The three prongs. And that's interesting. And I'm just trying to check and see if there's any activity around that. Some of those I have been told, and I don't know if this is one of them, but they were with the Native Americans, Indians. They were markers, and because this area had so much Native American history, that may be an old signal tree. Could be, could not be. I don't know. So we'll leave that for the jury to decide. And if you think it is, especially Ramona, Elder Bear Claw, if she sees that, has some sort of opinion on that, she's an expert in that area, being that she is a Native American. She might recognize a signal tree more than I would. And she may say, no, sorry, you're way off. But it's definitely, amongst the other trees, you can see it's at least unique. And if it's unique standing out in the area, I always say as an investigator, you would want to take note of it. So cameraman was saying a lot about checking along these railroad tracks and the wire cuts. And we hit both of those tonight. And as beautiful and calm as it is, we're still not seeing much of anything right now. At least that I can see. There is a lot of area to cover. Because I got straight ahead of me, obviously, and the thick wooded area to this side. You always have your 6 you gotta watch. And a heavily forested area over here. I am trying to see where my little heat marker goes, what it's picking up, because it may pick up life form. You know, and if I pan through something and missed it, and you're like, dude, that's something alive, please scream at me in the comments saying you missed it. Okay? It is my goal to be better at that and not miss things. My goal is I'm investigating, exploring, and I want to find everything that's there. If it's there, I want to see it. So I kicked myself pretty hard when my camera the thermal passes over something that's clearly alive and I miss it. I'm telling you, I do beat myself up over that quite a bit. That irritates the heck out of me. Because I'll say to myself, it's like, how you were there, how can you miss it? The one at the marsh, the thing on the other side of I literally heard a weird screech, and when I did, I pointed my camera right at this thing and still didn't see it. Okay, that's why I need you guys. Okay, that is so much why I need you guys. Okay, and while I'd love to have somebody with me on these, if you're in the area and you're available, well, message me and let me know. You know, it's obviously at nighttime, and as you can see, I'm really not much for going out in the rain. That kind of saps some of the fun out of it. A lot of, if there's rains or storms, walking in the woods can be dangerous. If it's high winds, that wind noise can diminish what you catch. And not only that, high winds, a lot of the animals will tend to lay low because it messes with their hearing. I'm hearing a lot of cricket noise. And that little sigh, part of that is my asthma. Okay, part of it is, okay, I have this great enthusiasm of wanting to find wildlife in the area. And when I don't find anything, it frustrates the heck out of me. I'm looking at that and I'm not getting any signatures. I can tell it's picking up trees. You can see the light of Furnace Road up ahead. Now, one of the areas I want to get into is an area called Hogsback. It's a highland above the Cognac Creek and this little stream that we call Hogs Run. That as a child, I had quite a few experiences there. And I've explored it in the daytime a couple of times here. And because it's part of the Metro Parks, with the Metro Park officer, I've done some night explorations there, but they weren't videoed because I was with the Metro Park officer. Okay. So, and sometimes this is just how it goes, but this same set of tracks, I'll drive around in the daytime looking, and I literally seen a big deer come running out across the railroad tracks. And I'm sitting there, because I was sitting by the tracks, just kind of sitting there in the car, watching to see what come out in the daytime. And I'm like, that'd be kidding me. These things happen when I'm not videoing. Sometimes that's the way it goes. And sometimes I didn't think I got something there that looks like litter. Some more beer cans. Sometimes I think I don't find anything at all. And then I post this up and you guys find something I missed. That's why even if oh, we got a skunk right there. Ooh. Hi there, Pepe Le Pew. Yeah, he's turning his tail to me. Let's not spray. Let's just stay put. All right. So I found Pepe. And you see how thick that is? I can't even pick him up on the thermal now. There he goes, running back there. I can still see him. And the thermal is just picking him up barely, a little blip, and he just moved out of the sight. And you see how thick that is? I can't even pick him up on there. And that's definitely a game trail, so Pepe showed me where a game trail is. So, that I probably didn't see on the way down here or wouldn't have seen either way. And Pepe's still back there moving. I can still see him moving. All right, we're gonna leave Pepe Le Pew alone because one of the worst things you can do to a skunk is tick it off. So we'll let Pepe go out looking for a girl. Here. We won't interfere. And for me, again, I love the wildlife. Now, I do gotta say, in my area, my neighborhood is right along the Cognac Creek in a wooded area. So when I say it's an animal that I would spot in my neighborhood, I literally can spot every single type of animal that we will find in my neighborhood. So I was pretty close, and it's quiet. They're a little waddle, a little skunk waddle. Let me tell you what skunks constantly have to worry about, and especially at nighttime, because skunks are more nocturnal. Okay, skunks have to worry about owls. Okay, owls have this incredible vision and no sense of smell. So with no sense of smell, there's our beer can on the stick. So I recognize this area that we've been here before. With no sense of smell, the skunk's defenses are now worthless. So they really have to watch when they waddle out into the open, because they may get pegged by a big old owl. Which is, if we've heard on several of my videos from around here, those owls are out here. That's another pretty good sized tree that's like out of the norm. That's where that big tree looks like it fell over here across the tracks. All of this. And I gotta say, clearly looks like the work of Erica and Hattie knocking down stuff across the tracks. Those are my two listeners whose spirit animal is the Tasmanian devil. Another good sized tree there too. And it's weird, there's every so often there's like a real giant tree. We got the light at the intersection from Furnace Road, dead ahead. Still hear a bird chirping back there, which is kind of odd this late at night. We're getting back into where the neighborhood is over on that side. So, do gotta say, the noise of the I-90 there, it's really hard to get away from around here, even when I go into Monroe Township. Whether I'm Hatchett's Corner, Bigfoot Canyon, out there, man, I'm still picking up the I-90 road traffic. Even over at the marsh, I was picking up some of the I-90 traffic noise. That marsh was literally like 3.5 to 4 miles off the interstate. So again, I have to make a pretty far trek. You know, that's another thing. Friends of Conneaut Creek will still pick up that freeway noise. And what I've also noted, pretty much every single one I've went to in Ashtabula County still pick up train noises. So, really hard to get away from. And this is where you get into a neighborhood and I see somebody put a ramp for walking back here, and begs the question, why do you want to come through here? I don't know, maybe a four-wheeler? Unfortunately, I'm not catching much. So, I know I end up, the more wildlife I catch, the happier I am. I can't ever guarantee it. I don't like to waste your guys' time, so I hope maybe there's something on here that I missed. Not that I want to miss anything. But yeah, I don't like to waste your guys' time. So, I do like to try to, it looks like, I mean, you can definitely see the signs where there's been, you know, there's game trails, and the signs of where there's a lot of wildlife activity. And I guess that's part of the investigation, is finding the signs of them. However, we're not seeming to catch anything tonight. And, I mean, that's very disappointing for me. Thought I seen a blue light shining through there. I'm not sure if I'm catching a reflection from the cemetery. So I mean, it's like double bonus creepy is lonely railroad tracks at night, on the other side cemetery. Okay. Looks like that branch, that tree got wrecked. Again, that's probably Erica and Hattie's working. They caused destruction across the nation. Just so you know, wherever you're watching, if there's something destroyed in your area, they're pretty clever kids, so it may have been them. I have this feeling the minute I turn this off too is kind of the minute that you catch the animal or the whatever it is. And it's such a beautiful night, we may have to hit somewhere else. And see what we can find. Okay. So we're getting up near the car. Again, this is like the key area where, man, I would think something might be coming through there. And, you know, I mean, I can see several spots where, you know, there's some openings that look like game, they're little bits of some game trails, like right here. So I know stuff is coming through here. But if nothing picked up in here that I didn't catch, or in the, you know, from either camera, well, and I walked an hour and 15 minutes to find a skunk, and I hope not, because I don't want to waste your guys' time like that. But if nothing else, we did take a walk in a creepy area. That's what is weird. I'm picking up some lights from that cemetery. I don't know if those are shining through. I can see them with my eyes. I'm not sure if they're coming from there. They're coming in there or not. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Taking this hike with me. There's another, I mean, that's where some of the water from that stream comes over here as our water source. And you always hope with a water source and cover like this forest that you're going to find wildlife, but it doesn't always work out that way. Okay. So from a clear night and along these lonely railroad tracks, this is Tech Sergeant Mackey saying God bless you.